So the aim of this video is to help you understand the literal and metaphorical meanings in Robert Frost's first poem that we're going to be studying, called The Tuft of Flowers. And to begin with, I'm just going to take a video that someone has taken of them reading and also include some visuals on the screen. So we'll start by reading the poem and then we'll get into the meaning after this.
The Tuft of Flowers. I went to turn the grass once, after one who mowed it in the dew before the sun. The dew was gone, made his blade so keen, before I came to view the levelled scene. I looked for him behind an aisle of trees. I listened for his whetstone on the breeze. But he had gone his way, the grass all mown, and I must be, as he had been, alone. As all must be, I said within my heart, whether they work together or apart. But as I said it, swift there passed me by on noiseless wing a bewildered butterfly, seeking with memories grown dim overnight some resting flower of yesterday's delight. And once I marked his flight go round and round, as where some flower lay withering on the ground. And then he flew as far as eye could see, and then on tremulous wing came back to me. I thought of questions that have no reply, and would have turned to toss the grass to dry, but he turned first, and led my eye to look at a tall tuft of flowers beside a brook, a leaping tongue of bloom the scythe had spared, beside a reedy brook the scythe had bared. The mower in the dew had loved them thus, by leaving them to flourish, not for us, nor yet to draw one thought of ours to him, but from sheer morning gladness at the brim. The butterfly and I had lit upon, nevertheless, a message from the dawn, that made me hear the wakening birds around, and hear his long scythe whispering to the ground, and feel a spirit kindred to my own, so that henceforth I worked no more alone, but glad with him. I worked as with his aid, and weary, sought at noon with him the shade, and dreaming, as it were, held brotherly speech with one whose thought I had not hoped to reach. Men work together, I told him from the heart, whether they work together or apart.
Alright, so we'll go back to the start of the poem and I'll just explain what the literal meaning is. So basically what is happening in this poem. The main persona, who is the one telling the story from his perspective, is a grass mower, and he comes out onto the field that has been mowed before the sun. This was a common act because the grass was easy to cut when it was mowed while wet from the morning dew, and the entire field has been cut, and he tries to find the mower who cut the field, but he's nowhere to be seen or heard. It can be assumed that he's just gone home because he's done his job. The persona is now alone, and he reflects on the fact that while he is actually working together in partnership with this man, he is still alone in the field and working alone. As the persona thinks this, he's distracted by a butterfly that is looking for a flower to eat from. He flies around and eventually finds the flower that he feasted on yesterday has been cut. The persona is about to go back to his work, but he sees the butterfly going for a tuft of flowers near a stream. It's a beautiful tuft of flowers and it draws his attention. He goes and inspects the flowers, trying to figure out their type. The persona then realizes that the mower from earlier in the morning has deliberately left these flowers uncut because it's assumed he thought that they were beautiful. This makes the persona consider the noises of nature in the early morning, such as the birds and the mower's scythe cutting. He acknowledges the connection that he has with the other mower, and he's now happy that he has his co-worker, even though they still work alone. Alright, that's the basics of this poem. We'll start to connect it to discovery and consider language techniques in class.